Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we are diving deep into a story of forbidden love, years of secrets, and all-consuming passion taken straight from the pages of Julia Quinn's When He Was Wicked. Okay, so let's just jump right into the core of this whole story. Picture this: Michael Stirling, who is London's most famous rake, a guy who's seen and done it all, takes one look at a woman and is just floored. We're talking head over heels, can't breathe, life-altering love at first sight. But, and this is a huge but, there's a devastating catch that sets the entire conflict in motion. The woman, Francesca Bridgerton, is about to walk down the aisle and marry his cousin John, the man who's basically a brother to him. So what does he do? For 2 agonizing years, Michael lives a double life. He has to bury these incredibly intense feelings for Francesca behind this charming, witty facade that everyone knows and expects from him. And this right here really lays out his internal battle perfectly. On the outside, he's the merry rake, always the life of the party. But on the inside, he is just drowning in guilt, absolutely tortured by this love that feels like the ultimate betrayal. And it all boils down to this one word. This single, powerful emotion pretty much defined his entire existence. It wasn't just love, it was a deep, forbidden wanting. And you have to understand, the guilt was immense. This wasn't just any cousin, this was John, the one person he was closest to in the entire world. So loving his wife felt like the worst kind of treachery. And just when you think things can't get any more complicated, just as he's sort of resigned himself to this quiet suffering, the story takes a tragic turn that changes absolutely everything. So let's just break this down. In 1820, John dies. Just suddenly. Francesca, now a widow, then tragically loses their unborn child. And Michael? He's now the new Earl, a title he never wanted, and he's so consumed by grief and guilt that he just flees. He exiles himself to India for 4 long years. Okay, so let's fast forward those 4 years and switch over to Francesca's perspective. She's not just a grieving widow anymore. She has a new goal. She's ready to move on. What's driving her is this deep, powerful desire to have a child. So she decides it's time to remarry. It's not about finding some grand passion, it's a practical decision. She's heading back to London society to find a suitable husband. And of course, in perfect dramatic fashion, just as she's made this life-changing choice, he's back. Michael returns from India, and suddenly they're forced to face each other, and all that unresolved history, all that tension comes rushing to the surface. Well, things escalate fast. There's a stolen kiss, a moment of weakness from Michael, and Francesca, totally shocked, flees to her home in Scotland. But this time, Michael is done running. He follows her. He makes a decision. If being the dependable friend isn't working, well, maybe it's time to lean into his reputation. Maybe raw passion is the answer.
And this is the game changer. He begins this very deliberate, intense seduction. He basically weaponizes his whole wicked persona and makes it crystal clear that all that legendary desire, it's only ever been for her.
But you know, a passionate affair like this can't stay a secret forever. And Francesca, she hesitates to marry him. That hesitation leads to this massive, explosive confrontation that brings everything to a head. She just doesn't get his urgency. She's asking him, why are you pushing so hard? Why can't you just let this be? And faced with losing her, Michael finally breaks. And it all comes pouring out. He confesses everything. He tells her this isn't some new feeling that sparked between them in Scotland. No, this is a secret, agonizing love that he's been hiding for years, from the very first moment they met. Just think about that for a second. 6 years. 6 years he loved her in secret, through her entire marriage to his cousin, through her heartbreaking grief, and through his own 4-year exile on the other side of the world. This revelation just completely shatters her world. It forces Francesca to look back on their entire history, every conversation, every shared glance, and see it all in a completely new light. And it makes her finally confront her own heart. And you can almost see the pieces clicking into place for her here. She realizes that what she's been feeling for Michael, it isn't a betrayal of John's memory. It's its own thing entirely. A deep, undeniable bond that's become its own profound form of love. So, with the truth finally out in the open, they get married. They're finally free to build a life together, stepping out of the shadows of guilt and into the light. But the real healing, the ultimate absolution, comes from the last person you'd ever expect. John's own mother, gives them her blessing, essentially giving them permission to be happy, to move forward without the weight of the past.
And that's really what the story leaves us with, isn't it? This really poignant question. It's a powerful look at what it means to find love after loss, and it asks if a heart can truly heal and become whole again, even when it's loved deeply before.